Noah Freeman hurried down the hallway of Westlake High School, his backpack bouncing against his back. He was running late for advanced physics, and Mrs. Bennett was strict about tardiness. As he rushed into the classroom, he noticed something unusual. The normally chatty students were quiet, all eyes fixed on the front corner of the room. That's when Noah saw her. Standing next to Mrs. Bennett was clearly not a human student. The newcomer had pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the fluorescent lights. 4 eyes, 2 large ones where human eyes would be, and 2 smaller ones above them, blinked nervously at the class. Intricate patterns glowed faintly beneath her skin, pulsing slightly like gentle waves. "Ah, Mr. Freeman. Nice of you to join us," Mrs. Bennett said. "Please take your seat. As I was saying, we have a new student joining us today. This is HFY from the planet Merax. She's part of the educational exchange program established since Earth made contact with the Meraxian Alliance 5 years ago. She prefers to be called Zex." Noah slid into his usual seat in the middle row. His classmate Lily leaned over. "Can you believe it?" she whispered. "We actually got one of the aliens in our class." Noah nodded, trying not to stare at the new student. He had seen Meraxians on TV, of course, but never in person. Their world had made contact with Earth 5 years ago, but the aliens mostly stayed in their designated areas of major cities. This exchange program was brand new. "Zex will be with us for the rest of the semester," Mrs. Bennett continued. "I expect you all to help her adjust to our learning environment. Now, Zex, please take the empty seat next to Noah." Noah's heart jumped. The blue alien nodded politely and walked toward him with a strange, fluid grace. Her movements were too smooth, like water flowing. She sat down carefully, keeping her 4 eyes focused on her desk. "Hi," Noah said quietly as Mrs. Bennett turned to write on the board. "I'm Noah." The alien turned slightly toward him, but kept her eyes down. "I am HFY. I am pleased to meet you, Noah." Her voice had an odd musical quality, like each word was part of a tune only she could hear. Mrs. Bennett began her lecture on quantum mechanics, and Noah tried to focus. But he couldn't help glancing at his new classmate. She was taking notes with what looked like a thin crystal pen that left glowing marks on her tablet. Her 4-fingered hand moved quickly across the screen. About halfway through class, Mrs. Bennett asked a question about wave functions that stumped everyone. Noah happened to look at Zex at that moment, wondering if she knew the answer. Their eyes met. All 4 of Zex's eyes widened. Then she completely froze. Not a muscle moved. Not a blink. The patterns under her skin stopped flowing and turned bright white. She sat perfectly still, like a statue, staring directly at Noah. 1 second passed. Then 5. Then 10. Students began to notice. A few snickered. Noah felt his face grow hot with embarrassment, though he wasn't sure why. Had he done something wrong? After nearly 30 seconds, Zex suddenly came back to life. The patterns under her skin flashed rapidly before returning to their normal gentle glow. She quickly looked down at her desk. "Zex, do you need a moment?" Mrs. Bennett asked, seeming completely unfazed by what had happened. "No, Mrs. Bennett. I apologize for the interruption," Zex said softly. The teacher nodded and continued with the lesson. Noah heard whispers and quiet laughter behind him. When class ended, Zex gathered her things and left quickly, without looking at anyone. Noah watched her go, confused by what had happened. "Dude, you broke the alien," laughed Greg Porter as he passed Noah's desk. "Did you see how she just locked up when she looked at you?" Noah frowned, ignoring Greg. Something strange had happened, but he didn't think it was funny. He wondered why Zex had frozen like that, and why Mrs. Bennett hadn't seemed surprised. As he walked to his next class, Noah decided he would try to find out more about Meraxians. Whatever had happened, he felt somehow responsible, and he wanted to understand. During lunch, Noah found his best friend Amber Dias sitting at their usual table. Amber worked as a volunteer at the Alien Cultural Liaison office downtown after school, so she knew more about aliens than anyone else Noah knew. "You won't believe what happened in physics today," Noah said, sliding his lunch tray onto the table. "Let me guess, it's about the new Miraxian student." Amber smiled. "The whole school is talking about her." Noah nodded. "Her name is Dex. Something weird happened when we made eye contact. She just froze, completely still for like half a minute." Amber's eyes widened. "You made direct eye contact with her?" "All four eyes." "Yeah. Why? Is that bad?" Amber put down her sandwich. "Noah, in Miraxian culture, direct eye contact is super intimate. They only do it with close family or potential mates." Noah felt his face grow hot. "What? No one told me that. I just looked at her normally." "For them, it's like, imagine if a stranger walked up and held your hand without asking. It's that level of personal." "Great," Noah groaned. "So I basically violated her personal space on her first day." "Don't feel too bad," Amber said. "They know humans make eye contact all the time. But knowing something and experiencing it are different." Just then, the school secretary found Noah in the cafeteria. "Mr. Freeman, Mrs. Bennett wants to see you in her classroom." When Noah arrived, he was surprised to see Zex already there. "Noah," Mrs. Bennett said, "I'm assigning partners for the quantum physics project, and I've paired you with Zex." Noah tried not to look directly at any of Zex's eyes. "Okay. I understand there was a small cultural misunderstanding earlier," Mrs. Bennett continued. "Zex has assured me she's fine, but I thought working together would be a good opportunity for both of you to learn." After Mrs. Bennett explained the project, she left them alone to discuss ideas. "I'm really sorry about what happened in class," Noah said, looking at the floor. "I didn't know about the eye contact thing." "Please do not worry," Zex said softly. "We are taught about human customs before coming here. I knew humans make eye contact freely. I was unprepared for the strength of my reaction." Noah risked a quick glance at her face, careful to focus on her nose instead of her eyes. The patterns under her skin were shifting in slow, calm waves. "So, what exactly happens when you freeze like that?" he asked. Zex's skin patterns quickened slightly. "It is similar to what humans call blushing or having your heart race, an involuntary physiological response. I cannot control it." They moved to the library to start researching their project on quantum entanglement. As they worked, Noah discovered that Zex had an amazing understanding of physics. "This is incredible," he said, looking at her notes. "How do you understand this stuff so easily?" "Miraxians develop mathematical abilities earlier than humans," she explained. "But there are many things humans do better than us." "Like what?" "You are very adaptable and brave." Zex hesitated. "Many of my people find humans intimidating." Noah laughed. "Us intimidating to you? Your emotions are so visible, so quick to change, and you act on impulse in ways we cannot understand." Zex's patterns shifted to a deeper blue. "In my culture, we observe for a long time before acting." As they continued working, Noah noticed Zex becoming more relaxed around him. She even laughed at one of his jokes, a musical sound like wind chimes. When the bell rang, Zex gathered her things. "May I ask something, Noah?" "Sure. Why did you not laugh with the others when I froze?" "Most found it amusing." Noah shrugged. "It didn't seem funny to me. It seemed like you were uncomfortable, and laughing at that just felt wrong." The patterns under Zex's skin brightened. "I see now why Mrs. Bennett paired us together," she said. "Until tomorrow, Noah Freeman." As Noah watched her leave, he realized he was actually looking forward to working with her on their project. Noah and Zex were working in the school library. It had been 2 weeks since they became project partners, and they had made good progress. Noah was flipping through a thick physics book while Zex organized their notes. "I think we need more data for the entanglement section," Noah said, turning a page too quickly. "Ouch," He pulled back his finger where a sharp paper edge had cut him. A thin line of blood appeared. "Are you okay?" Zex asked, looking up. When she saw the blood, her reaction was immediate. She froze completely. But this time, Noah noticed something strange. The air around them suddenly felt cooler, as if someone had turned on an air conditioner aimed right at their table. The temperature dropped several degrees in seconds. "Zex," Noah whispered, concerned. After about 20 seconds, she unfroze. The patterns under her skin were racing wildly, bright white fading slowly back to blue. "I apologize," she said quietly. "Are you injured badly?" "It's just a paper cut," Noah said, still feeling the unusual coolness. "But did you just make it colder in here?" Zex looked around nervously. "You noticed that?" "Yeah, it got really cold when you froze. How did you do that?" Zex hesitated. "It is not something we usually discuss with other species. I won't tell anyone if you don't want me to," Noah promised. After a moment, Zex nodded. "Miraxians can absorb and redirect thermal energy when stressed. It is an evolutionary response from our planet's extreme temperature changes. So when you freeze, you're not just getting still, you're actually controlling temperature." "Not controlling exactly. It happens automatically when we experience strong emotions or stress." Zex's pattern swirled slowly. "The sight of human blood is alarming to us. Your red color is very different from our blue fluid." Noah wrapped his finger in a tissue. "That's actually really amazing. Is that why your planet joined the Alliance? Because of these abilities?" "Partly," Zex admitted. "Our thermal abilities and mathematical skills make us valuable allies. But physically, we are considered quite weak by galactic standards." Later that day, Noah met Amber for lunch and told her about what happened. "I've heard rumors about Miraxian abilities," Amber said, "but it's not in any of the official cultural guides." "That's pretty cool that she trusted you enough to explain." "We've been getting along really well," Noah said. "She's actually funny once she gets comfortable, and brilliant at physics." As they talked, a loud voice interrupted them. "Well, if it isn't Alien Lover Boy." Greg Porter and his friends had stopped at their table. Greg was tall and played football, using his size to intimidate others. "What do you want, Greg?" Noah asked. "Just wondering how it feels to be paired with the blue freak." Greg smirked. "Does she freeze up every time you look at her? Maybe we should see what happens if we all stare at her during lunch." "Leave her alone," Noah said, standing up. "She's not a science experiment." Greg stepped closer. "What are you going to do about it, Freeman?" "He doesn't need to do anything." Everyone turned. Zex stood there, her 4 eyes focused on the floor near Greg's feet, clearly avoiding eye contact. "I appreciate your concern, Noah, but I can speak for myself." Her voice was quiet but firm. The patterns under her skin were pulsing with a steady rhythm. Greg looked uncomfortable. He wasn't prepared for Zex to confront him directly. "Whatever. You aliens are all freaks anyway," he mumbled, but he backed away, his friends following. After they left, Noah turned to Zex. "You didn't have to do that. On my world, we stand with those who stand for us," she said simply. "You defended me. I defend you." Noah smiled. "That's how it works on Earth, too. At least among friends." "Friends," Zex repeated, her skin patterns briefly flashing a bright, happy yellow. "I would like that very much, Noah Freeman." As they walked to class together, Noah realized he was seeing Zex differently now. Not as an alien with strange reactions, but as a person with unique abilities and her own kind of strength. "Attention students," Principal Rogers announced over the school speakers during homeroom. "The annual science competition is now open for registration. This year, the Calvin Institute will offer 5 full scholarships to winners. See your science teachers for details." Noah looked across the room at Zex, who was listening carefully to the announcement. A month had passed since they started working together, and they had become good friends. After class, Noah caught up with Zex in the hallway. "We should enter the science competition," he said excitedly. "Our quantum entanglement project is already way ahead of schedule." Zex's skin patterns sparkled with interest. "Do you think we have a chance to win?" "Actually, I have an even better idea," Noah said. "What if we create something that demonstrates practical applications of Meraxian thermal abilities combined with human engineering?" Zex's eyes widened, but she didn't freeze this time. Over the past weeks, she had been working on controlling her reaction to eye contact with Noah. "That would be unprecedented," she said. "No Meraxian has ever publicly demonstrated our abilities like that." "Is it allowed?" Noah asked. "I don't want to suggest something that would get you in trouble." "It is not forbidden," Zex said carefully. "Just unusual. I would need to consult with my host family and my cultural advisor." Later that week, Zex brought Noah good news. "They have approved our project idea, but we must be careful. My people do not usually share our physiological abilities so openly." They began working after school each day. Noah designed special sensors to measure and display the temperature changes when Zex used her abilities. Zex provided mathematical models showing how the energy transfer worked. One evening, as they were testing their equipment in the empty science lab, Noah asked a question that had been on his mind. "If you don't mind me asking, why did your family allow you to come to Earth?" "The exchange program just started, and it seems like Meraxians are pretty private people." Zex was quiet for a moment. Her skin pattern slowed to a gentle pulse. "My family is important on Merax. My parent is a member of the Science Council. They believe stronger connections between our species will benefit everyone." She paused. "There is also great pressure for me to succeed here, to show that our people can adapt to Earth." "That sounds like a lot of responsibility," Noah said. "It is," Zex admitted. "Sometimes I worry I will fail." "You won't," Noah said confidently. "You're the smartest person I've ever met, human or alien." The patterns under Zex's skin flashed bright pink for a second before returning to blue. Noah pretended not to notice. As the competition drew closer, their project attracted attention. Mr. Franklin, the science coordinator, visited them often to check their progress. One day, he brought visitors. "Noah, Zex, these are Dr. Lane from the Human Meraxian Research Initiative, and Trazel, the Meraxian Cultural Attaché." Mr. Franklin said, "They'd like to see your project." The visitors watched their demonstration with great interest. Noah explained the engineering aspects while Zex demonstrated controlled temperature manipulation, lowering the temperature around a small plant without harming it. "Impressive," Dr. Lane said. "This could have applications in medicine and agriculture." Trazel spoke to Zex in their native language. A series of musical notes. Zex's patterns rippled with what Noah recognized as pride. After they left, Noah asked, "What did Trazel say to you?" "That I am representing our people well," Zex said, "and that our project shows promise for future collaboration." That night, as Noah walked home, he realized how far they had come. What started as an awkward cultural misunderstanding had grown into a friendship and partnership that might change how humans and Meraxians work together. The science competition was just 1 week away, and Noah had never felt more excited about a project or a friendship. The day before the science competition, Noah and Zex were in the school lab doing a final test of their project. They had built a small device that could harness Zex's thermal abilities and convert the energy into usable power. "Let's try it one more time," Noah said, adjusting a dial on their machine. "We need to make sure the thermal regulator works perfectly." Zex nodded and placed her 4-fingered hands on the sensor pads. The patterns under her skin began to glow brighter as she focused. The temperature around them dropped noticeably as she pulled heat from the air into the device. "Power levels look good," Noah said, watching the display. "Now try to pulse it like we practiced." Zex concentrated harder. The machine hummed as energy flowed through it. Small lights on the control panel flashed in sequence. Suddenly, one of the gauges spiked into the red zone. "Something's wrong," Noah said, frowning. "The regulator is." Before he could finish, the machine made a high-pitched whine. The room's temperature began to fluctuate wildly, first freezing cold, then uncomfortably hot. "It's malfunctioning," Zex cried, her patterns flashing warning colors. "The thermal flow is reversing." Other students who had been working nearby noticed the temperature changes and looked over in alarm. "Everyone out," Mr. Franklin shouted from across the room. "Clear the lab now." Students rushed for the door. The temperature swings were getting worse, making windows fog, and then clear rapidly. "You two, Noah and Zex," Mr. Franklin called as he guided others out. "We can't leave it like this," Noah said, trying to shut down the machine. "If the regulator completely fails, it could damage the whole lab." Zex looked at the device with all four of her eyes. "I can contain it," she said. "How?" "I can trigger my freeze response deliberately, absorb the excess energy." The patterns under her skin were racing with anxiety. "But it's risky. I've never tried to absorb this much before." "That's too dangerous," Noah protested. "You said Miraxians have limits to how much energy they can handle." The machine made a cracking sound. A small component burst, sending sparks flying. "There's no time," Zex said. She placed her hands back on the sensor pads and closed all four eyes. In seconds, she was completely frozen in place. Her skin patterns turned bright white, then began to pulse with waves of blue and white. The temperature in the room stabilized, then started to drop steadily as Zex absorbed the excess energy. Noah watched in amazement, but quickly noticed something alarming. The patterns under Zex's skin were beginning to flicker erratically. Tiny ice crystals were forming on her arms. "She can't handle it all," Noah realized. Without thinking, he placed his hands over hers on the sensor pads. A strange sensation shot through his body, like static electricity but throughout every cell. The cold was intense, but somehow bearable. Noah felt as if he was helping to channel the energy through his own body, grounding it. Mr. Franklin returned to the doorway. "Noah, what are you doing? Get out of there." Noah couldn't move. He felt connected to Zex in a way he couldn't explain. The machine's whine began to lower in pitch. The temperature stopped dropping. After what seemed like forever, but was probably less than a minute, the machine went quiet. Zex's eyes opened slowly. The ice crystals on her arms melted away. "It worked," she whispered, her voice shaky. "But how? I should not have been able to absorb that much energy." Noah looked at their hands, still touching on the sensor pads. I think I helped somehow, like I was helping ground the energy through me." Mr. Franklin and several other teachers rushed in, checking the equipment and making sure Noah and Zex were okay. "What just happened?" Mr. Franklin asked, looking at the now quiet machine. Noah and Zex looked at each other, both realizing they had discovered something neither species knew before. Humans and Miraxians had complementary biological systems that could work in harmony. "I think," Noah said slowly, "we just changed our project for tomorrow." The morning after the lab incident, Noah and Zex were called to the principal's office. When they arrived, they found not only Principal Rogers, but also Dr. Lane from the Human Miraxian Research Initiative, Zex's cultural attaché Trazil, and two other officials they didn't recognize. "Please, sit down," Principal Rogers said. "You two caused quite a stir yesterday." Noah and Zex exchanged nervous glances. "Am I in trouble?" Zex asked, her skin patterns showing worry. "I did not mean to risk damage to the school." Dr. Lane shook her head. "Quite the opposite. We've reviewed the lab's sensor readings from yesterday. What happened between you two is unprecedented." One of the unknown officials, a woman in a dark suit, spoke up. "I'm Dr. Wilson from the Interspecies Research Center. We'd like to invite you both to our facility to explore this compatibility you've discovered." Compatibility? Noah asked. Trazel's skin patterns shifted, and what Noah had learned was excitement. In all our years of contact with other species, Meraxians have never found another race whose biology complements our own in this way. But what exactly happened? Noah asked. I just put my hands on the sensors to help Zex. Dr. Wilson pulled out a tablet and showed them a graph. When you made contact, the energy flow stabilized instantly. It should have been impossible for a Meraxian to handle that much thermal energy without cellular damage. Yet with Noah's assistance, Zex suffered no harm. Dr. Lane added, we believe there's something unique about human physiology that helps ground and channel Meraxian energy manipulation. Principal Rogers looked impressed. Your science project just became a lot more important than a school competition. Later that day, Noah and Zex visited the Interspecies Research Center. Scientists ran various tests, having them work together to control temperature changes in different environments. In a break between tests, Dr. Wilson explained what they had discovered. Humans evolved on a planet with relatively stable conditions, she said. This gave you remarkable adaptability and resilience to change. Meraxians, Trazel continued, evolved handling extreme temperature shifts. We developed specialized abilities, but became highly specialized. Dr. Lane added, when working together, humans can help Meraxians stabilize and direct their abilities, while Meraxians can enhance human perception and processing. It's like your nervous systems can communicate on some basic level. Noah looked at Zex. Is that why you froze when we first made eye contact? Was it some kind of connection trying to happen? The patterns under Zex's skin swirled thoughtfully. Perhaps our freezing response might be partly an instinctive preparation for energy exchange. As they continued testing, news of their discovery spread. By evening, local news stations were reporting on the breakthrough in human-alien cooperation. Some reports were positive, calling it a new era in interspecies relations. Others were more cautious. Not everyone is happy about this, Dr. Wilson said, showing them a news feed. A group called Pure Earth was protesting outside the research center, holding signs reading, "Keep species separate," and "No alien integration." Some people fear what they don't understand, she explained. They believe humans and aliens should maintain distance from each other. Zex's patterns dimmed with sadness. We have similar groups on Merax. They believe mixing with other species will weaken us. Noah frowned at the protesters on the screen. But what we discovered could help both our species. The energy management alone could solve power problems, not to mention medical applications. Dr. Lane nodded, which is why tomorrow's science competition is more important than ever. Your presentation could change many minds about human-Meraxian cooperation. As they left the research center, Noah felt the weight of responsibility. What had started as a simple school project had become something much bigger. Their discovery could change relationships between humans and Meraxians forever. Are you ready for tomorrow? Noah asked Zex as they walked to the car waiting to take them home. I am nervous, Zex admitted, her patterns showing swirls of both anxiety and excitement. But with you, I feel stronger. Noah smiled. Me too. The day of the science competition arrived. The school auditorium was packed with students, teachers, parents, and many visitors. News cameras were set up at the back of the room. Noah spotted Dr. Lane and several Meraxian officials sitting in the front row. There are so many people, Zex whispered backstage. Her skin patterns were shifting rapidly with nervousness. Just focus on me when you get scared, Noah said. Remember, we practiced everything. When their turn came, Noah and Zex walked onto the stage with their rebuilt device. Noah began the presentation. Our project started as a study of thermal energy conversion, he explained to the audience. But it evolved into something much more important, a discovery about how humans and Meraxians can work together. Zex stepped forward, her voice steady despite her nervousness. Meraxians have always been able to absorb and redirect thermal energy. Humans have always been adaptable to changing conditions, What we discovered is that together, we can do even more. They demonstrated their device, showing how Zex could control temperature changes, while Noah helped stabilize and direct the energy flow. Graphs on the screen behind them showed how much more efficient the process was when they worked together. This discovery could lead to advances in energy production, medicine, and space travel, Noah explained. Imagine cooling systems that need no power, or ways to keep warm in extreme cold without fuel. The audience watched in fascination. Noah could see people whispering to each other, clearly impressed. Then, from the back of the auditorium, came loud voices. No alien influence in our schools. Several protesters had entered, holding signs. The same group they had seen on the news. Pure Earth protects humanity's future, another shouted. Security guards moved toward them, but the disruption was already causing confusion. People turned in their seats. The judges looked concerned. In the chaos, one of the protesters rushed forward toward the stage. He bumped into a display table near the front, sending a heavy piece of equipment tumbling toward a young girl in the front row. Noah reacted instantly, jumping from the stage to push the girl away. At the same time, Zex made a quick gesture. The air around the falling equipment seemed to thicken, slowing its descent just enough for Noah to pull the child to safety. The audience gasped, then broke into applause. The security guards escorted the protesters out. When order was restored, the head judge, Dr. Simmons, took the microphone. What we just witnessed was not just quick thinking, but a perfect example of what these students have been trying to show us. Human reflexes and Maraxian abilities, working together instinctively to protect others. The competition continued, but it was clear to everyone who the winners would be. When Noah and Zex were announced as first place, the applause was thunderous. At the reception afterward, Dr. Lane approached them with a tall Maraxian official. "This is Council Member Vexorian," she introduced. "He has a proposal for you both. We are establishing a new joint human Maraxian research initiative," the council member said. His skin patterns moved in formal, dignified waves. "We would like you two to serve as youth ambassadors." Noah and Zex looked at each other in surprise. "Your discovery has opened new possibilities," Dr. Lane explained. "But more importantly, your friendship shows how our species can connect on a personal level." Zex's patterns glowed with pride. "It would be an honor." Noah nodded. "What exactly would we do?" "Travel to schools on both worlds. Share your story. Show others what is possible when we work together," the council member said. As they accepted the offer, Noah thought about how much had changed since that first day when Zex had frozen after making eye contact with him. What had seemed like an awkward cultural difference had been the first sign of something remarkable. Standing there with their award and new responsibilities, Noah and Zex looked at each other directly, all four of Zex's eyes meeting Noah's too. There was no freezing this time, just a moment of perfect understanding between two friends from different worlds who had built a bridge neither had thought possible.